I like to start with what I know and then work towards what I don't know. I wanted to take the formality of the house and the informality of the woods and kind of make the two combine. I'd like to show you how not to mulch around a tree. It's a step that I see very few landscapers doing. You want to make sure to have variation in your heights. Look at how lovely this is. We just cued the butterfly to come in. How you doing, folks? We're in the next phase of our landscaping project, and what we're going to do now is the demolition and the transplanting. So what you do now is, if you have a house where there's really large overgrown shrubs, you want to make sure you go through, and if there's any shrubs you want to transplant, make sure you mark them before you start just hacking out all the shrubs. You know, look at all the shrubs and see if there's any use for them. There's a lot of times I'll be doing a job where the house is just overgrown. You can't even see in the front windows, but maybe there's a few shrubs that could be transplanted and moved somewhere else to block an undesirable view in the yard. And that's something that I'll put a link to a video up here where I discuss how to transplant shrubs. So what you're going to do here is, if you've got a lot of overgrown shrubs, you're just going to go through and cut everything down and clear it out. Just clear out all that junk. If you've got an old walkway or something that needs to be torn up before the project starts, you'll certainly go ahead and rip that out as well. And then we're also going to transplant. And I just want to show you a quick tip for transplanting. This right here is called a nursery spade. And what makes it a nursery spade is it's either got an all metal, I believe they call this a shank, but we're going to just say handle. It's got either an all metal handle, or if it's got a wooden handle, the shank is going to go up like 3/4 of the way. And the other thing about it is it's got this nice tapered, very strong digging part. I don't know what the term is for that either. And then a nursery spade has usually got a nice sharp tip to it to cut the roots. This is an awesome tool for transplanting shrubs. If you have a shrub to transplant or a perennial like this hosta here, what you can do is just take your nursery spade, go a little bit outside the stem, and you just kind of work it into the soil. We're catching some rocks in there. You don't want to rock your spade back too much and loosen the soil, but you just want to cut around the base of the plant. This is like planted on pure rock. So you'll work your way around the shrub and cut as many of those roots as you can. Once we've cut all the way around the base of the plant, then you want to try to get your spade underneath and just leverage that plant forward. Then you can just take it out of the hole, and you see we've got a nice root ball on this, and it'll transplant very nicely. It's midsummer, but this plant is going to do great because you got all this soil around it. Let me just do this azalea next door real quick. Quite a bit of rock around this azalea. Now this azalea had, I don't know, it was like growing with a lot of rocks around it. If you bump into rocks, you're just going to have to move where you're cutting it. And for this one, I had to actually come in at a little bit of a sharper angle to get underneath. Once you get the plant out of the ground, you can certainly knock a little bit of the dirt off to make it a little more manageable. Remembrance. Boy, this soil is pretty dry too. So then on this side, you know, if you've got any large roots that you cut, just take your clippers. I'll come back with my clippers and cut these off a bit. But plants this size, you can very easily transplant. And this nursery spade is just a wonderful thing. That's going to take care of our demolition and transplanting. Now again, I'm going to focus mainly on the beds, so you're going to have to kind of you know, extrapolate as far as if you have walkways to do and such. But for a job like this, which is a fairly straightforward one, we're going to go ahead and transplant our shrubs, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start edging out the beds. Thanks for watching today, folks, and have yourselves a wonderful day.